Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the site of another Green Flag Racing season live here at the Cyber Thunder Racing League. Tonight, from the World Center of Racing Daytona International Speedway, 16 cars made their way down to the World Center of Racing in Daytona Beach, Florida. Everybody out here going for the first checkered flag of the season. Out here live in the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network, joined outside by my co-host and my friend, Mr. Jade Bell. Mr. Crank Bell going to be joining us out here all season long. Crank, always a pleasure to have you, and looking forward to a great season. You ran this series last year, Crank. What do you know about this Rising Stars series?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I'm glad to be here, and man, am I excited to kick this season off. I tell you what, this is by far across the last few seasons that I've been involved with Cyber Thunder has been my favorite series to participate in first, admin it last season, and now I get to call it in the booth with you. Uh, so people talk about jumping on iRacing and getting through the rookie series and do that as fast as possible. And I mean, this series that we put on here in Cyber Thunder, the Rising Stars developmental series, this is where you really cut your teeth and start learning the ins and out of what iRacing is all about. And these guys, I think we've got probably 30%, if I had to guess, or more, that graduated out of even being eligible to run in the series from last season. So that speaks volumes to, what we have been able to accomplish with developing the drivers and getting them to the next level. And that's the competition through and through is bar none. Where whether you start out early on in the season making friends and rivals, and at the end of the season you see it paying dividends when they're racing for the championship through the chase. It's just a great series across the board to watch and be involved in.
Yeah, for sure. And, it kind of provides a platform, Crank, as well, for everybody to come out and run in a series that they're competitive in. And I see a lot of our guys out here tonight live on Facebook, YouTube, and Bullydog Coffee Company also streaming our race out here tonight as well. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get pre-race picks in here in just a little bit. But speaking of Bullydog, we got some new faces, new places this season. Want to first welcome in new title sponsor, Bullydog Coffee Company. Originally opened up last year, October 2020, out of Prescott, Arizona, and Patrick Bowler running that show out there. Really great program that they got. One thing that Cyber loves to do is work with organizations that are doing good things for good people, and partial proceeds of the Pitbull rescues go to local shelters, and they also promote low cost and free spay and neutering programs for the shelters as well, which is an awesome thing to do. And how can people get involved with Bully Dog, Crank? Do we have any promotional codes out there we got for him?
Yeah, so the website is just bullydogcoffeecompany.com. Very straightforward, just like the name, bullydogcoffeecompany.com. They do have a promotion code out there for anybody that logs on, buys any of their coffee. It's for the win, for the number four, and then the win. That'll get you 5% off of any of their coffees that are out there, and all those proceeds, like you said, go towards helping out the pit bull rescues that they support. And I'll tell you a little bit about Patrick. I mean, he was in the coffee business for, I think he said he had 15, 20 years in the
Yeah.
industry like that while he before he stepped away for a bit. And anytime that you tie somebody that has that much experience in an industry in with doing something good, some philanthropist there back to the community, like he's done with the pit bull rescue and what you spoke about as far as helping rescues and low cost spay neuter, that goes a long way because they've got so much heart into the cause already, and now they're bringing their expertise of something like the coffee industry into it to help that out. I mean, it speaks volumes to what Patrick's about and where his heart is, and we're just real glad and proud to have Bully Dog Coffee Company as a sponsor for our Rising Stars series this year, and hope that we can do all we can to promote them and help them take care of the cause that they're supporting there.
Yeah, absolutely, Crank. And this kind of came together recently, but this also highlights these drivers out here. Currently, we got 16 drivers. Kelly Elrod at the bottom of the charts, a little bit over 2 seconds off the pace currently being set by Mad Sim Racing's own Tyler Beeman. Um, So we're going to be out here all season long, 18 races from now until the end of June, and we're going to be crowning a champion at the end of June. But this season is really looking up. We got a lot to look forward to, and having Patrick and that team come on board, we really couldn't ask for a better start to our February seasons here.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me make a correction there. I said 5% off of your order. It's actually $5 off your order. So if you go out there and order a couple pounds of coffee and get $5 off, that's a big percentage. So the fact that they're coming on board with us and offering up a promo code like that right away says a lot about who they are and how involved they are with wanting to be involved with iRacing. And we want to, turn that favor around as much as possible and get them as much business as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And the goal with Bullydog is to eventually expand into a storefront, increase profits, and help more dogs in need. And we're going to do our part here all season long to do our best, to do our little small part in here, and certainly welcoming all of the Bullydog Coffee family into the Cyber Thunder Racing family here. Got a little bit over 8 minutes remaining out here in practice. Tyler Beeman still sits atop of the scoring charts. Right behind him, his Mad Sim Racing teammate Andrew Kotzkin, David Gainforth, Cole Gray, all within just a couple of tenths of each other here.
Yeah, that Mad Sim Racing crew, they have really came out and showed up in force this season. I'm glad to see that. For those of you that don't know, Mad Sim Racing and Cyber Thunder Racing League have partnered together. Mad Sim Racing actually does a lot of road course series and leagues, and we have worked with them to kind of, since we're on the oval side of the house, they're bringing some of their drivers over to us, and we're bringing some of our drivers over to them, and honing our skills across the board. So it's good to see them come out in force, and it's hard to miss them. I mean, all of them with that light baby blue and yellow car paint scheme. It's good to see them out here running with us.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to pairing up with them. Some special events coming up as you see 4 of them coming through turns 3 and 4. All lined up. I can't tell you who's who. Everybody's running the same paint scheme. We got to look at the side of the cars there. But they're lined up, and having friends out here, especially at a plate track like Daytona, is certainly going to come into the finishing of tonight's race. Saw it last night with the team going 1-2 with Bill and Kyle Jetty coming across the line. Would not be surprised to see these teams find their way to the front here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have that many cars on track together that are working together, it's a force to be reckoned with. We have several teams out there running this season that ran last season with us. Zach Chahalis has switched over to the 24. He's running that iconic DuPont Chevrolet paint scheme, and he's teammates again this season with Dalton Carter and Bill Jetty. The Long Shot Motorsports team have several veterans of the series there with Eric Moore, Cole Gray, and Paul Turner running. Like, all those guys that have multiple cars out on track working together are going to probably be at an advantage in a track like this, to be honest with you, just because the draft is so important.
Oh, I'm sure. And Crank, you kind of cut your series you ran over here, and you got a couple of race wins into the Tuesday Night Thunder, what was then the Xfinity Series, and now the Truck Series, and also the Cup. They're 4 wide on the backstretch here. We're not even racing yet. This is great. How did this series prepare you to move up through the ranks at Cyber?
Well, it really helped me hone my racing skills and car control. That's really what this ARCA car is about, is car control. Keeping your momentum up. You have to run close to the wall a lot of times, but stay off the wall. The way it's kind of skewed out there, it'll really pull you into the wall and kill your momentum. At tracks like this, the super speedway tracks, the way that the front bumper lines up with the rear bumper, you have to be really careful and get snugged right up behind the car in front of you, but you can't touch them. If you make contact, these don't bump draft like all the other cars do. You'll spin yourself out and the guy in front of you really quick, really easy. So with that said, you've got a bunch of guys that are fairly new to iRacing or that don't have a whole lot of experience and skill racing close together, close quarters, keeping that momentum up with the throttle control, a little bit of brake, and you learn how to race real close around each other and keep that car control. And that's really what helped me, and the tire conservation as well. Being able to save your tires to have something left at the end of the run goes a long ways, obviously.
Yeah, no, for sure. And got just a minute or two here. We're going to kick it over to the trackside in just a moment. Green flag, black flag, real quick. We're going to see green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I think they run a 100% fuel load, so they should only need one green flag or one fuel stop, I think, to make it to the end. Typically, at plate tracks, you're going to see some cautions and may tear up a lot of cars. It just depends on when that caution comes out. They can probably make it, I guess, made around 30 laps or so on fuel, being that we go 50. Maybe if a caution comes out, around the 20 lap point, they won't have to come in under green, but we'll see. I think we'll probably see a green flag stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to agree with you there. And, last night in the Tuesday Thunder Truck Series, we saw a couple of incidents coming onto pit road. So getting onto pit road, getting lined up, and making sure we're coming off together, that's going to be key as well. Um, and all of YouTube out here, I want to see your picks out here in the YouTube chat. Who do you guys got to take the first black and white silk of the season here? You take a look at a lot of these guys out here: Paul Turner, Bill Jetty, Eric Moore, Cole Gray, Tyler Beeman, Dave Gainford. All these guys out here running the Rising Stars series for multiple seasons. Certainly would not be surprised to see maybe Paul Turner or Cole Gray come out here. Cole really picked up the steam at the end of last season. So I think I'm going to go with either Paul or Cole. You know what? I'm going to go with Grant Paul. We'd like to see Paul get his first win out here tonight in tonight's race at Daytona.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I mean, Paul is super good at these plate tracks. That's definitely his specialty. I'll tell you who I'm going to go with, though. Mr. Zach Chahalis. He pulled it off last season in our Cup Series. He proved that he knew how to run the race, put himself in the right position at the right time. His team there, Bill Jetty, took the win last night in our Tuesday series, so they learned how to work as a team up front, and I think they're going to try to do the same thing tonight. So I'm going to go with number 24, Zach Chahalis.
Well, I see Kyle out here already posting our first pick out in the YouTube chat box. Has got the rest of my Shavota team rooting for either one of the three. Certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with. But, Crank, we're about to go qualifying here, so we're going to throw it trackside for tonight's opening ceremonies for the playing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, back live, waiting for the checkered flag to fall on practice here. But first, we got to pay homage to the red, the white, and the blue. Those are going to be the most important colors we see all season long, as we see. Number 15, new driver out here, Matt Watford, currently sitting P10 on the charts. He's backing up into his pit box here, and we're about to kick over to qualifying. Crank, we were just talking before the race. A relatively small field out here tonight, only 17 drivers out of a 24-car field. You think we're going to see anybody purposely start in the back and maybe try to save that fast repair? This race is only 50 laps. It's a short race.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest with you, Tom. I see a lot of guys talk about, oh, I'm not even going to qualify. I'm going to start in the back for these super speedway plate races, but ultimately you've got to stay close enough to the pack to not lose the draft. And inevitably, when the wreck does happen, cars are scattered all across the track, the infield, and you got to be really careful not to get into them. So you're just betting that you're going to be able to get that car locked down before you get in the accident. Me, I prefer to start as close to the front as I can. That way, I know if the wreck happens behind me, I don't have any issues with it. And if I control my car, I should be fine as long as I'm paying attention to what's going on around me. But I definitely think there will be some guys that do not qualify tonight and start in the back, as we see Tyler Beeman in that 91 Mad Sim racing car pulling off pit road here.
Yeah, Tyler, one of our participants in the Cyber 500 last week or 2 weeks ago, him and that entire Mad Sim crew out there, who John is posting and pulling for, said somebody in MSR is going to get the win tonight. John, I don't disagree with you. They're going to be strong out here. And Patrick Bowles says, I've got my money on the 3 car, and that is the Bullydog Coffee Company Chevy Impala out there. But right now, taking a look at Tyler Beeman running around the top shelf around Daytona International Speedway, really working that top line, getting that car up to speed. You know, these cars are a little bit underpowered, very much momentum based. Got to get those cars wound up. And then actually, is he coming to his second lap already?
I think that's his first lap out here.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, Tyler knows what he's doing. Him and the entire crew, they're really good drivers. Me personally, I keep that thing round up around the top shelf and get those RPMs up as far as you can possibly get next to that wall. But you know, you were talking about a few minutes ago with the skew on these cars. You do have to be careful because even if you think you got enough room between you and that wall right there, in these cars, it has a habit to come up there and just grab that right rear, and you get sucked in, and then you're just along for the ride and could kill your entire qualifying run here. So maybe not a terrible idea. See where he comes across first time by here at this line.
Yeah, that's the gamble you take when you run up there around that top line. If you nick it at all, it's going to pull you in and just kill your time.
First time by across the stripe. Going to put him second on the board right behind David Contreras. Cole Gray out on track. We're going to move over and ride along with Cole right now. Cole, of course, a series veteran, headed down into turn 1, and he is riding with Bullydog Coffee Company on board.
Yeah, Cole is actually one of my teammates, and I talked to him earlier. He was asking me, he said, hey, how do you get around here, keep these cars wound up? He was talking about how he has trouble qualifying at the super speedways, and just like you said, you know, I keep it up around the top and get it wound up as tight as it'll go and then bring it down on that second lap. So we'll see how he pulls out. Looks like he turned to 50.3 on his first lap. That's clearly running top side.
Out of turn number 4, coming to the white this time by. Going to see where that posts him. Tyler Beeman moves to the top of the board. See where Cole goes here at the line. Up to P number 3 for car number 3. A tenth of a second off track. Let's go and take a look over here. Kelly Elrod making his way around turn number 1. Really off pace first time by. Looks like he's struggling quite a bit in that 333 machine headed through turn number 2 as he gets a run off here out of turn number 2, headed down the backstretch coming at you.
Yeah, Kelly is one of the guys that's new to our series this season, and we're expecting some good things out of him. He ran a few practice races, recruitment races with us, and he showed a lot of promise. Looked like he had a little bit of trouble with that first lap. He may have got the wall there, like you said. I'm not sure, but we'll see what he gets coming out of turn 4 here, coming to the line.
Got to wonder if maybe something's not right with that car. See him wigging a lot coming out of turn number 4, and he's going to be over 3 seconds off the pace trying to find another driver that's out here on track right now. Christopher Daniel, a new ride out here for Chris in number 88 machine across the line. Christopher Daniel currently sitting 9th on the board, moves up to 2nd right behind Jerry Isaacs. Currently your top 10 is posted time, 50 seconds remaining here in qualifying.
Yeah, it looks good seeing Christopher Daniel back out here on track. I like him in the number 88 and that Miller Lite paint scheme, the red, white, and blue, just like we talked about. So important to all of us here at Cyber Thunder Racing League. So I'm excited to see what he does. He was really fast last season, had several races where he competed for the win. I think he got maybe 2 wins last season, if I remember right. So he's going to be one to watch throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, and you know what, going to that, Crank, I mean, I think that Chris is maybe one of those guys that, you know, maybe we don't talk about enough, but he's always up there. He's a smart race car driver, knows when to push it, and knows when just to kind of pick and choose the battles. You know, I mean, you're never gonna get anywhere if you fight every single battle that comes your way. But that's gonna do it. Only 10 drivers electing to make a qualifying time, as it looks like the field of 20 is gonna start gridding down here from pit road, Crank.
Well, there you have it. We talked about, you know, who's going to take the gamble and start in the back, who's going to actually turn qualifying times, and we were about 50-50. So those guys that wanted to start in the back, like Paul Turner, John Sanu, Justin Zapatokny, they're actually starting right in the middle of the pack, which is exactly where I would not want to be.
Yeah, you're going to have to help me out here because scoring is not populated just yet, but sitting on the front row on the inside line. Got those cheap cars, the blue and yellow cars, Jerry Isaacs and the number 51, Christopher Daniel, Patrick Stein, and Tyler Beeman. 3 of the top 4 Mad Sim racing cars.
Yeah, but we finished out the top 5 there with another Mad Sim racing car, I believe. David Contreras is new to the league, and then we're going number 6, sixth position, starting position, sorry, Andrew Caldwell, followed by Andrew Kotska. Cole Gray starting in 8th, Matt Watford 9th, and Kelly Elrod rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, Kelly Elrod, we saw final driver to take a qualifying time out here tonight. Paul Turner, currently on the board in 11th spot, and trying to make my way back over there.
Yeah, so it's got
Frank,
the
help me out
guys, the guys that elected not to turn a time there. Paul Turner in 11th, John Sanu 12th, Justin Zapatokny at 13th, followed by Bill Jetty 14th, teammate Zach Chahalis 15th, David Gainforth, another veteran of the series, will be starting in 16th, Nicholas Sneed, Eric Moore in 18th, and rounding out the last row there is veteran Dalton Carter and Robert Gregoire. Good seeing Robert back out here in the series again.
Yeah, good to see Rob coming back out here. And I find it interesting that most of the Mad cars did decide to post a lap, but Rob was the only one who did not. But looking in the back of the field, Bill Jetty, Zachy C, both of those guys probably going to be lining up. They lined up last night and going to definitely be making their way up towards the field as we wait for the pace car to pop it into drive and pull us off pit road here.
Yep, we got the pace car pulling the cars off pit road there, going into turn 1 on the pace lap here. It'll take probably about a minute to get everybody around and get ready to fire this thing off.
All right, well, we made our picks out here. I see a good luck Cole Gray out here from Mike Gray. Go ahead and, what do you think we're going to see for the first however many laps? You think these guys are going to play nice?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And so I always, last season when I was running the admin for this, I told them, you're not going to win it. Turn 1, lap 1. Take your time, fill each other out. This is the first race of the season. Let's see where you're at before you start making some big moves. You've got, like you said, the Mad Sim Racing guys up here with a lot of their teammates, and they spent the entire practice running around each other. Some of the other guys, we're just kind of hunting, picking, trying to find somebody to draft with. So they may not have as much experience running in a bigger pack like this.
Absolutely. Pace car is going to make that left-hand turn down off pit road here, down off turn 4 here in just a moment. We're going to go green flag in a moment for the first time. Coffee Company Rising Stars Series. We'll be out here every week from now until the end of June. Crank, you want to go racing here tonight?
Oh, man, I've been waiting all winter for this.
Everybody has, and kicking off the new season here tonight, green flag is going to be up in the air as we head over to the spotter stand, waiting for him to wave it. There they all go. Everybody's coming through the gearbox for the first time of the season, headed across the stripe.
Looks like we got a nice clean start there. Kelly Elrod's pulling down to that inside line in front of Paul Turner back there, around 16th place now. But looks like we got a good roll into turn 1 here. Everybody's minding their P's and Q's. Don't see any issues right now.
Yeah, plenty of room here to go 3, maybe even wide and through the first corner, everybody given a lot of room as we see the top side jostling around out there in the bottom line, all with those blue and yellow cars. I'd imagine that, there we go, Tyler Beamer just falls right on in, and I think they're going to line up, try to take control of this race and see how this will unfold for them over the next 50 laps here.
Yeah, like you said, 50 laps. That's the important part. It's early. I think those guys lining up on the bottom side and just rolling around cruising is probably a smart bet for their entire team. Oh, 89 getting into the 88 there. 89 sliding down through the infield. Are they going to stay off track? I don't see a caution yet, but it really caused some problems for Chris Daniel there in the 88.
We caught that live here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Second pack coming now by them. Bill Juddy, Zachy C., Dalton Carter. All coming through right there. We were just talking about knowing when to pick those battles, and I'm not entirely sure what happened there. So we might get a replay here in a few minutes of what happened, but that really broke up a lot of these packs. To see the breakaway coming out for the second time coming to lap number 3.
Yeah, I think what happened right there, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these guys don't have a lot of experience running in a bigger pack, and it looked like, you know, the cars got a little bit close together, and the draft kind of just pulled them together there. I think it was Patrick Stein in the 89 got into Chris Daniel there a little bit in the 88. We've seen that the cautions are pretty conservative here in super speedways lately. If you get down off the track at all, the caution flag doesn't come out. So unfortunately, it broke the pack up big time here. Chris Daniel's way off the pace in the back without any help around him. So he's going to need a caution to really help him get back up here.
Yeah, he certainly is. And you know what, Crank? I mean, he may wind up going a lap down here over the next. They're probably going to catch him here in maybe about 10 or 15 laps. Coming down so that everybody has an opportunity to put themselves in the right spots, to put themselves in victory lane out here tonight. As we already see, the top shelf trying to run David Contreras out there in the top row.
Yep, looks like Cole Gray sitting right up there in the top 5-6, trying to hang with those Mad Sim Racing guys. So he's one to watch. He's carrying the Bullydog Coffee Company colors on his car there, and I know they're cheering him on.
Yeah, they certainly are. And watching these guys go around here for the first time here tonight, trying to see where everybody's going to line up. We're going to ride on board here with the number 15 of Matt Wofford. He grabs the apron a little bit down there, gets a little loose coming through the trial, but just following Tyler Beamer. Got a car and a half length worth of space as we see now the top line making their move, and David Contreras dropping down to the bottom.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of trying to feel each other out and figure out what works, what's going to work. Looked like Cole Gray had a little bit of an issue there, maybe got into the back of the 47, had to check up hard, and the 15 came around him quick on the outside. But you know what I see back there is old Grandpa and that number 40 just hanging out, just waiting to see it all unfold in front of him. You talk about putting yourself in a good position to be there at the end. I mean, that is Paul's MO.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul was in a great position at the end of the Cyber 500. Just a few laps remaining and things didn't go his way, but that's racing here at Daytona. You can go from first to last in just a lap here.
Yeah, absolutely. Communication is key. I know I talked to Paul. Him and I were involved in that during the Daytona 500, and even though we were teammates during that race, it was just miscommunication caused issues there for us, and really turned the tables on what his race was looking like. But looking back up front here, that 15 there, Matt Watford, he's new to our series. He's really trying to push his way to the front early, I think, and he's got that outside line working.
Yeah, he is. And you know what, Craig? I don't know if this is something we talked about earlier, but you got to be careful if you're trying to push him. You can't push. Otherwise, you're just going to send the guy in front of you around for a ride.
Yeah, that's another one of the characteristics of these ARCA cars that make them being, for a developmental series, such a good car is you really have to learn that car control and stay off the car in front of you. Otherwise, you're going to cause a big mess.
Yeah, it is. We see a lot of really great car control going on out here right now. John Sanu taking the point out of turn number 4, leading the charge. Looks like Cole's really having issues. Looks like maybe he's having some sort of mechanical issues in that car. Keeps hopping all over the place. I'm sure you guys are probably not going to be apt to run around him if that continues.
Yeah, that's something I meant to mention earlier. I think we forgot, but a lot of people tonight are having troubles just due to the weather across the country, power outages, rolling outages. The internet is not as solid as it usually is, and I think that's what we're seeing with Cole there. Is his internet doesn't have a real solid connection. He's starting to blink out a little bit, causing some issues. But that, I mean, speaking from experience, Tom, you know that is super hard to race around when you're not sure where the car is actually at.
It really is, because you get out of the throttle, it breaks up the line because you're not sure where they're going to come back. And that's one of the characteristics of online racing. In real world racing, you've got blown engines, you got blown pistons, you got oil pistons, batteries, as we see a car around down here.
Yeah, we were just talking about him there.
Matt
Number
Watford
15, Matt Watford. Looked like he was wiggling a little bit, maybe came down, came across the 6's nose and went for a ride. But once again, we stayed green. He went down to the inside, didn't cause a big pileup, so we're going to keep rolling.
Yeah, and that's what you were talking about here a few minutes ago. Matt Watford. Looks like maybe he just misjudged that a tiny bit. Hard to tell from that angle, but he spins it around. He keeps it clean. I don't see any damage on that car. He almost just ran the road course and got that car pointed in the right direction, and he's headed back coming out turn number 2 this time.
Yeah, there's so much room on this track. The problem is you're carrying such high speed that the centrifugal force pushes you back to the outside as soon as you lose control. So he was lucky he got spun down in a part on the track where, like you said, he was able to keep going without getting any damage, get it righted, and be back there. I think what we're going to see is when we do come to pit stops, if we have them under green, I don't know how many of these guys practice that, and that's important. I learned that from experience, Practice going fast, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the race when you got to make a green flag pit stop, you didn't practice going from 185 mile an hour down to 60 for pit road speed, and you end up overdriving, overshooting the pit road stop. Some guys I've heard of even have spun wildly crazy and blocked pit road and caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, you know what, Crank, and you don't realize that until your team's trying to communicate, all right, we're going to come next lap. And then there's a silence and says, did anybody try to practice pit stops? Where are we downshifting? Where are we braking to? And everybody's then trying to do it for the first time. That's what happens sometimes. People wind up missing the pit stalls, and we've seen collisions on track with myself included. I've done it. But going back, that's one of the characteristics of online racing. You don't have maybe blown engines in here. You can, but not random part failures. But the internet issues and stuff like that, that's all out of a driver's control in a lot of ways. Just like a 50-cent part in that engine is out of the driver's control as well.
Yeah, for sure. And again, that's one of the intricacies to iRacing, racing online, that this series really helps you develop, things you don't think about until you get in a series where you're running a race. Oh man, we got to make green flag pit stops, That's where you learn that stuff, learn to communicate with your teammates, call it out over the live radio, and let other guys around you know, hey, I'm coming in this time, don't run me over or whatnot. Looks like we got 2x2 up front though still. Most of the Mad Sim Racing guys have kind of fell back in line back there running, but we still got David Contreras up front there with Jerry Isaac up in the top 5. So we're starting to really see them fill out each other and know where they can go and what they can do.
Yeah, and right out in front of John Sanu's windshield right now, he's taking a look at Christopher Daniel. Christopher Daniel is going to have to latch onto this pack right here and try to remain the first car one lap down to receive the free pass award. In the event that a caution does come out, that's going to be his only chance at remaining in this race, unless we do get a couple of late cautions, which is certainly possible, but we've already seen 2 spins and the race has remained green.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's important, what you said earlier about putting yourself in the right position to have a chance at the end. So he knows he's going to be a lap down here, but he's going to have to fall into that pack to remain that first car one lap down, so when that caution comes out, he does get a chance to get the lucky dog and get back up in the pack. Something else to mention, when these cars that are in the draft are coming up on a car like that is without any draft help. I mean, there's probably a 15 mile per hour, 25 mile an hour speed difference there. As you see Christopher Daniel go to the high side with them 3 wide at the front there. That can become very, very dangerous to cars trying to make them way around him.
Yeah, it looks like he may have gotten into that outside wall, trying to give, it's a gentleman move, trying to give these guys as much room as possible that are racing for position out here. Sometimes you just give up a little bit too much and you wind up putting yourself in the wall. And looks like he's going to be able to hang on to the draft, but one guy we were talking about before, lurking in the weeds. Don't forget about this 4-car. Paul kind of just riding back here, currently in the 12th position, last car in this pack. And the second pack, about 17, 20 seconds back. That's the Zachy C and Bill Jetty and Dalton Carter. As we cycle around back there real quick. As long as you got a couple of draft cars, you're all right running back here. Obviously, if the race runs green, you're going to want to be a little bit closer than this. But for the time being, I think this is probably a pretty decent call by these guys.
Yeah, they're definitely biding their time and trying to stay safe to avoid any incidents in front of them. I think that's smart. Like we have seen here, though, they may not get a caution, so they're going to have to work together to be able to catch this draft at the end if they want to have a chance to be up front and compete for the lead, compete for the win. I'll tell you something. You talk about gentlemanly moves that Christopher Daniel did there. I noticed something. As he got back to the back of that pack, I saw the number 5 of Eric Moore actually pull out a line in front of him and let him get a little bit of his draft so Chris Daniels could actually stick with them. Now, those guys had beef last season, I know, big time. So to see Eric Moore pull out and actually help Christopher Daniels, that's pretty impressive. And that speaks volumes to the respect that these guys have for each other. They're out here trying to help, even if they are rivals.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now we have a race within the race. Both Matt Watford and Christopher Daniel are within this first lead pack right here, and they're going to be racing. They got to be respectful of the guys in the racing position, but they're also racing. You're looking at them right here. They're racing. There's the tail the recipient of that free pass award in the
Yeah, for sure. I think I mean, that's sketchy. That's super sketchy. I want to be a part of that because you're trying super hard to be as respectful of the guys on the lead lap as you can, but you've got to get around that guy and hope that you aren't involved in the caution if it does come out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know what? Like, if I was Christopher Daniel or Matt Watford right now, and the other driver wasn't in this pack, just fall in the back of this pack because you don't want to get any damage in the event that a caution does come out and be ineligible because you're involved in the free pass. But unless both of these guys can get on the same page and drop to the back of the pack, which is not going to happen here. They're racing within the lead pack for 18th place.
Yeah, and it looks like they're gonna. Well, Daniels hasn't run here. The 15 there, Wofford pulled up in front of him, so I got a feeling they're going to get really dicey there before this is said and done. So we're coming up on lap 19 here, coming out of turn 4. They get to lap 20. I think they could potentially make it to the end if they stopped early, but there's really no benefit as far as tire wear goes at this track. So I think they'll probably run the tanks until they're on absolute fumes before they decide to start trying to pit.
They're probably going to run this as dry as possible. There is one green-white checkered involved in this series. We need to get a caution late in the race. It extends us into overtime. We do get one opportunity to finish it out under a green-white checkered scenario.
Andrew Caldwell's right up there in front of the 15 of Matt. Oh man, I just completely lost his name. Matt Walton, I believe it is. And yeah, Christopher Daniel. So he knows they're both hungry and they're back there on his rear bumper. Unfortunately, it looks like Cole Gray is still blinking out a bit, and that really throws things off when you see that smoke coming in front of you. It makes you want to check up. But yeah, this is starting to get pretty interesting up here.
Yeah, it does, Crank. And that breaks up the entire line. Because people start rolling out of the gas, that kind of brings everybody back. Close that run. Monitoring the YouTube chat box out here tonight. For anybody who may not be too familiar with the iRacing.com simulator service, Patrick says out here, what's with the smoke on track? So the smoke, as Kyle Jetty just chimed in there, it is the driver connection. So that is he will probably do a better job at explaining this, but when a driver temporarily loses connection, they pop back in, and that's when you see the smoke. So a driver's losing connection and then reappearing before they can fall out of the server entirely.
Yeah, and that smoke is really what wreaks havoc as far as, like you said, breaking up the line and cars checking up. I mean, I've heard for several seasons now that's one of the biggest complaints that people want iRacing to fix is when they lose that connection, just do away with that smoke as it comes back in, because that messes up everybody behind them. They can't tell if a wreck is happening in front of them or if it is a connection issue like that.
Yeah, and you know what? You know, in these types of races, you know, you're running so tight. Maybe if we were at maybe Michigan or California or some of these other tracks that we're going to be going to throughout the course of the season, wouldn't be as big of an issue. But, you know, we can go on board here real quick. We'll go on board with the number 15, Matt Wofford, and we're going to see what he sees. So, going on board here, all you see when you go on board here is really just a spoiler in front of the car in front of it. You know, right now these cars are running a little bit looser. They're not as tight up on one another's bumpers, but the vision in these cars is very, very limited.
Yeah, and it gives you an extreme pucker factor when you see that smoke come off the car in front of you. You don't know what to expect. Do I got to get off the gas? Are we wrecking in front of me? What's going on here? But we see the number 6, Justin Zapatokny, new to the series here. He's leading that outside line. Him and John Sanu have been up front here for the last several laps, really trying to control the race, I think, and leave themselves in good position.
Yeah, I got to imagine we're probably over that 5 laps away from green flag pit stops, probably pitting around that 28 to 32 take. I know Kyle Jetty, one of our past champions out here in the Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars Series. Out here, maybe Kyle will be able to chime in and tell us what a fuel run is out here as we move back here a tiny bit in the field. Taking a look here.
I think the telltale sign for when they're going to get ready to start pitting is these guys are going to, teammates especially, are going to start lining up together and trying to get to that inside lane. Right now we've got those 2 teammates up in the second row there of the 09 of David Contreras and 51 of Jerry Isaacs. They're content running side by side right now still, so I don't think that they're not planning to pit anytime in the next lap or 2 anyway, I wouldn't assume.
You're going to see all these guys start to make the marching orders down to the bottom lane here when they are ready to go. But, you know, may see some of these larger teams, maybe the group in the back, they've gained a couple of seconds. They were about 17 seconds when we checked about 5 to 10 laps ago when that was. They're now about 15 and a half seconds back. So they are gaining a little bit of time, but they are going to need some sort of help to get back in this race. Halfway through this time by.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that group of the Shibota Motorsports teams in the back there, they picked up Kelly Elrod after he spun around. David Gainforth's back there with them, and I think that those extra cars have really helped them pick up a little bit of speed. They're closing in, like you said, down to 15 and a half seconds or so. So they're not in a bad position yet, being only halfway through the race, but they got to be careful and continue to make up that ground. I think they're back a little further than I'd be comfortable with.
Yeah, especially halfway through the race. We're going to give you that promotion code one more time, bullydogcoffeecompany.com. Go ahead over there, click on their shop, see those items that they got. They got some pretty cool stickers. I'm going to talk to Patrick, see if I can order a sticker or 2 for myself, get that stuck on my fridge in my car, and order a pound of coffee and use promo code for the win. That's number 4, the win, for $5 off your order.
Looks like old Grand Paul Turner is trying to make a move, see how long it's going to take him to move to the front now that we made it halfway. He's coming out on the outside there. got down, did a little bit of side draft on the 89 of Patrick Stein, and it really shot him forward. Look at him coming up some side. Christopher Daniel there. He's carrying a little bit of draft off the 15, who moved down to the inside lane. But see, this is what Paul does. He hangs back there and he plays it real conservative, and then every once in a while he'll make a move, see how long it's going to take him to move to the front. He might be trying to get up here to work with his teammate there, Cole Gray, in the number 3, start putting himself in position to do a pit stop.
Now, I gotta ask you, Crank, is Paul heavy breathing down there yet? Is he in it just yet, or is he just playing right now?
I think he's biding his time. Oh, he got the wall just a little bit back there. See how fast that makes him drop off. I bet he's heavy breathing now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's gonna have to be really careful here going on board here with Paul. Paul is gonna lose the draft. Unfortunately, see if he can't find a friend or two, maybe to drop back with him, headed back up towards the lead. Still double file between Johnson and Justin Zapanitsky. Justin, you're gonna have to tell me how to say your last name. I apologize. I know I got that wrong.
Yeah, I've probably butchered it as well. Zapatokny, I think is how you say it, but I'm not 100% sure on that. He's new to our league, and we haven't got to talk to him a lot over voice chat yet, so we'll get that corrected for you, Justin. I'm glad to see you out here running with us, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, that's what this Rising Stars series, it really provides a platform. We were talking about a little bit in the pre-race. Allows these guys to come out and kind of race around each other in a smaller field setting to kind of learn. Maybe this is somebody's first league on iRacing. These guys are putting on a phenomenal show out here. Plenty of room, plenty of respectful racing as well. Nobody's really pinching the bottom. Nobody's really running the top up. You know, working lap number 26 on the board.
So that's probably something we should mention there, Tom. I don't think we got into that earlier when we were talking about this series, but like you said, they get out here in a little smaller field. So one of the rules in this, or the way that the series is set up, that they run an hour of open practice prior to the race, and the top 24 guys out of that practice make it into the race. So it rewards them for coming out and putting the practice time in during that session. You can't just come in the last 2 minutes and think you're going to make it into the race. They got to get out there and they got to run some serious practice laps, and they got to get in that top 24 in time. That's going to be the guys that make it to the big show, to the actual race. So you should never see a field that's bigger than 24, with one exception, where we let guys that have ran in the series before, if they don't quite make that 24 car field in practice, we give them what's called a legacy provisional, and they only have a few of those they can use throughout the season, but they can throw that on the table just like the trump card, and they're able to make the field. So here and there we may see, if we get enough cars out here, where we'll have a 26, 27 car field. Tonight we're pretty short, like I mentioned. The weather really has a lot of guys out of power and causing issues there, but that's unique for the series and kind of forces their hand to get the practice in there, which is all part of what this is about, developing the drivers. So that's some of the unique parts of this series.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good, really great driver developmental series. As we see a battle now between the 15 and the 88. Don't forget about them. They're battling for that lucky dog position back there. And, you know, we've made a few tweaks to this series over the past couple of years, really perfecting this and trying to provide a platform that rewards people that show up on a consistent basis and also gets those guys up front and battling for race wins. And that's really what this is designed to do. And looking at this, I mean, Crank, I don't want to talk about it, but we didn't even make it to the start-finish line last night.
Yeah.
And this is a driver development series. That's 20 laps to go the way that they are.
Yeah, caution-free. I mean, it's unreal.
A couple of incidents, but you know those will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Paul Turner get overtaken, he's already went a lap down after getting into the wall there. So we're going to have 3 guys right here in a row that are basically fighting for that lucky dog position between him, the 88 and the 15, and Christopher Daniel and Matt Walker.
Yeah, if I was Paul right here, I think I'd be in a pretty comfortable position because if I'm Paul, I just made my pit stop. Paul came in, maybe used that fast repair, maybe used that flex tape on the right side of that fastest chicken in the South car, and But these guys in front of them are probably going to be pitting here in the next lap or 2 or even 3, as you see. A lot of these guys already making their way down to the bottom, only 3 cars up on the top lane currently. So if I'm Paul, I'm thinking I'm in a halfway decent position. Oh, big hit. Big hit, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag for the first time. Christopher Daniel, Cole Gray, both involved. Eric Moore looks like he got slowed up quick enough. As we hear the cars scraping. Big hit for the Bullydog Coffee Company. Number 3 car driven by Cole Gray right out there. That's not so. This brings us to our first caution of the night, but this does not necessarily take Cole out of the race. Crank, why is that?
No, that's absolutely right, because in this series everybody gets 1 fast repair. So it really probably doesn't hurt him too bad as long as he can limp around back to pit road. He'll be able to get in the pits there. It was time to get fuel anyway, so he'll be able to top off his fuel and use that fast repair to get a brand new car. Now, the person that this may have hurt really bad was Paul Turner. Like you said, I don't know whether he used his fast repair when he came in and pitted or not, but he definitely got some of that damage there and ran through that wreck. So hopefully he either didn't use his fast repair yet or he didn't get much damage out of that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, see a wheel up on the number 4 machine. We're going to get back live here, and we're going to try to catch these cars coming into pit road. So we both got it wrong. There will not be a green flag pit stop out here tonight for the majority of the field. We're going to see these cars come down pit road and get serviced for the first and most likely final time tonight. But big hit for Cole Gray. Unfortunately, that also included the 88 of Christopher Daniel, and I believe that's going to put Matt in the free pass position. Could be wrong about that, but I believe that's who it's going to benefit here.
Yeah, Matt will be there in the free pass position as long as he didn't get an incident point from that. If he made any contact or anything, it'll make him ineligible. And I know they were right there involved with him. I didn't see if he made contact with anybody or not.
Looking at everybody come down pit road this time by being led by David Contreras in that 09 car. Everybody single file, got to keep right in pit road because you can still make contact on pit road. And the last place you want to do any sort of contact is on pit road, as you see a little bit of jostling around here. 86 John Sanu trying to make his way into his box. Contact between the 47 and Andrew Caldwell, I believe that was on pit road.
Yep, that's another thing. You know, you don't practice and then you all come down together and you have incidents on pit road like that. It's another part of the development piece of this series. You got to learn how to get onto pit road and learn how to get into your pit box safely without getting into anybody.
Yeah, for sure. And those are the smaller things that maybe somebody doesn't think about. You know, how many times you come down here to pit road and you're coming in side by side with somebody, and all of a sudden you're like, "Where'd you qualify? Where's your pit box? Because I need to pull in, you know, in 5 boxes here. You're going to be coming across my nose." And that's why we like to have everybody keeps it right at pit road, try to avoid some of those issues. But sometimes it's unavoidable, especially under green flag conditions.
Yeah, that's right. So it looks like David Contreras in the 09, who led us into pit road, looks like he got off of pit road first, is going to be the leader still, from what I can tell.
Looks like Paul Turner's going to be taking away with that as the first car behind the pace car. So Paul's going to get back on the lead lap. Most likely the 15 will be scored as the free pass, so he will likely be making his way around.
I'm not sure that the 15 didn't maybe make a mistake there and pit with the lead lap cars instead of going around it.
Don't say it, Crank.
He may actually have lost that lucky dog by getting a penalty.
Well, we are 1 to green here. Next time by, we're going to be going the flag man in hand once again to bring us to the next green flag of the night. And I believe you're correct. See Matt Watford here bringing up what I believe is going to be the tail of the field here. He's still showing a lap down and headed over to the 3 pit. Cole did not use his fast repair. Interesting call here. He must be expecting another caution.
Yeah, he must feel like he didn't get so much damage that he'll be able to keep up with the draft if he didn't use the fast repair. I mean, as hard of a hit as that was, I would find that hard to believe.
Could be a thing that maybe him and his crew chief maybe miscommunicated between one another, because that 3 car is heavily, heavily damaged. Actually, it looks like he might be coming back in here to use it this time. Cole Gray making his way down here. He's probably going to miss the next green flag here, but he'll still be in the race. We're getting ready to go. Green flag racing here once again for just the second time tonight. Really good first run. Going to be going green here with just about 20 laps to go.
So do you see what I see there, Tom?
I see a lot of blue and yellow.
And that pack that was back there 16 seconds off the pace in the Kubota Motorsports cars. 28 Bill Jetty, 24 Zachy Chihalis, my pick before the race, remember? And 53 of Dalton Carter, right back up in the mix behind all those MSR cars right now.
Absolutely. We head over to Barney in the flag stand. He's got the green flag up in the air, waiting on him to drop it. Let's wave that green flag. Let's go through the loud pedals one more time down here across the straight. Give us 14 laps to go on the scoring chart.
I think this is where we're going to start seeing people get really impatient and start getting really aggressive. 14 to go doesn't sound like very much even on a big track like this, so I think they think it's probably time to go now.
Yeah, like Frank, I mean, we were running the Cyber 500 a couple of weeks ago, and you know, you even saw it in the real Daytona 500 that you get lined up and maybe you're 2 wide, maybe you're 3 wide, but you just get stuck. You know, where are you going to go? You can't go in the grass to pass these guys. So all these guys are going to be trying to be the first one on the move here. I'm kind of curious as to what happened to John Sanu on pit road, because he looks like he's going to be the big loser coming out of the pit cycle here.
Looked like we had a little bit of incident back there between the 15 and 333 of Kelly Elrod. Looked like I saw Kelly Elrod go off the 15th nose and down into the infield. No caution comes out and stayed green though.
Yeah, it's a 2-car incident. Everybody happened toward the back of the pack. Stayed green, just 13 laps to go this time by. A lot of blue and yellow running up towards the front. John Diekman says, "We got a big hit down here on the back."
Big hit. Yeah, the number 6, Andrew Caldwell, or I'm sorry, it wasn't Andrew Caldwell, Justin Zapatokny we were talking about earlier. I was wondering who was going to make the move, if they were going to take it to the outside and go 3 wide or try to make it through the middle, and he chose to try to push his way up through the middle. People started kind of moving around a little bit. Yeah, it caused a big accident right there.
Yeah, see if we can't get a decent view of this here. Going to back it up a little bit. Taking a look at that number 6 car in that middle lane right now. Currently moving backwards. We're going to go ahead and move this forward here a little bit. Looks like Justin saw an opening, and we were just talking about it. I mean, it's go time. You got just 12 laps to go. Looks like he maybe slid up a tiny bit coming out of the corner. Still waiting to see where the point of contact is. Oh, you know what? I think we'll let race control handle that one, but it looks like maybe the 82 might have come up just a hair there. But that's what the claiming system at Cyber Thunder is all about. Is about drivers taking accountability for their actions and their mistakes, and we'll see who goes and claims that caution right there. A lot of cars piling into that, unfortunately. A lot of tight racing, and that's kind of a product of this sort of track racing right here.
Yeah, it goes back to what you said. You know, when you get the cars side by side at this track, I mean, you've got to find a place to go and find room to get your way to the front if you're not up there on that front row. And I think, like you said, it's time to go. And Justin was trying to find a place to go, and there's really only one of 2 places to go. You either go to the outside and try to get a line formed up there and risk ripping the wall down, or you try to get a nose in the middle there. And Justin had a nose in the middle there. And I mean, I'm not going to call blame from the broadcast booth up here, but we'll see how it turns out. There was a lot of movement down there as he was trying to go through the middle.
Yeah, there was, and you know, that's kind of what the claiming system is for, you know. So what we look for at the time of a caution is for somebody to own up to their mistake. Nobody's perfect. I race out here, and I've made mistakes, and you know, Crank's claimed a caution when him and I got together in North Wilkesboro. So you know, anybody who does claim a caution will be posted to the tail end of the longest line here on the following restart, which with only 10 laps to go here could be very detrimental to their hopes in this race.
So yeah, like you said, we're going to be coming to 10 to go here. I don't think anybody pitted unless they took some kind of damage, which is obviously the right call.
There
So
was
if you
a
want
few
to,
down there.
yeah, there was a few came into pit road. Maybe some of them got a little bit of damage. It saved, didn't have a need to use their fast repair earlier, so wanted to go ahead and take it. It looks like we're going to line up with Jerry Isaacs leading us off here in the 51, 91 of Tyler Beeman, Patrick Stein, David Contreras, the top 4 there, all the Mad Sim Racing guys. And then you got Bill Jetty, Zachy C, Paul Turner, Eric Moore finishing out there the top 7.
Yeah, and Andrew Kotska and David Gainforth. Dave was just down on pit road. Believe he used his roll of flex tape on that 101 machine ball and Carter Johnson. John was the leader for the better portion of that long first green flag run that we had. I believe he may have had some issues on pit road, cycled him around back to the 12th position currently. Andrew Caldwell and Kelly Elrod, we saw those two come together a few laps ago. They're going to be doubling up. That's
Yeah, I definitely would not count out John Sanu. He's a great driver, and he gets really aggressive at these tracks when it's go time, and we are definitely in go time. So I would probably venture we will see him working his way up towards the front really quick here.
Can we get a Grand Paul update? Where is Paul? Paul's
Grand
in
Paul?
7th.
Right back there in the thick of it, 7th. I don't know how much damage he has on his car. He's got a teammate right there on the outside of him in the number 5 running that iconic RST Timberworks paint scheme. That paint scheme's been with us through at least 3 seasons now and rotated through different cars, or different drivers, I mean. So the 4 and 5 there will be trying to work together. The 28 and the 24 will be trying to work together. And that top 4, the Mad Sim Racing crew, will all be working together as well.
Absolutely, and hopefully for the final time out here tonight, we're going to be going green flag racing under the Bullydog Coffee Company. Rising Stars Series through turns 3 and 4 this time by. Lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car, waiting on the green flag to bring us to this next restart. Barney's still got the yellow flag in his hand at the start-finish line, puts it down. He changes that over to the green flag through the magic of technology right there. We watch him do that iRacing.com pace car, making that hard left-hand turn down. We're going to see all these guys wait for him to wave that and give the go signal. There it is. We're all going green down here with just 10 laps to go. Big at 9.
51 of Jerry Isaacs looks like he got a really good start pulled out there in front of him. That's not exactly always what you want to do here at these super speedways. Get a run on you, but I don't think he really has much to worry about with all his teammates right there around him. So we'll see if these guys play nice. We got 9 to go here. I would probably wait to make a move until at least 3 to go, but we'll see how it turns out here.
You know, that's what you or I would think, Craig. You know, you just kind of ride and wait, you move forward, you move backwards, but that's not going through these guys' minds right now. I can promise you that.
Oh no, they're all wanting to get that big W. So you saw there, the 51, he actually backed up the outside line, got a run, and now he's back to the front as well. They're just kind of going back and forth, accordion. But those guys in the back that aren't having the fun racing up front, they're getting really itchy. I see the 146 back there trying to carry his way up to the front. Andrew Caldwell, he may be one to watch. Following right behind John Sanu, and I already mentioned he's going to be one to watch. I think Cole Gray may have actually used his fast repair now and got it fixed. So there's no telling what we're going to see here.
Yeah, and somehow Cole wound up back on the lead lap. Good to see him. He is back in contention to get up there and try to win this race as we're taking an overhead shot here, looking at the entire field coming through turns 3 and 4. Everybody just kind of minding their own business. Double file coming through here. Big gap on the bottom right now. You take a look at these lines, and right now the lines are about even, but we keep seeing Jerry get a big jump out there, Gotta imagine with those team cars up there, it may not be too big of an issue.
Yeah, they seem to be working together really well. I mean, Jerry gets a big run out there, and then Patrick Stein will get up there to the back of 91 of Tyler Beeman, will get him pushed out in front as well. So we see David Gain fourth, go down to the bottom below the line. Looks like there was some shakeup near the back there. They were 3 wide, 4 wide for a second.
Yeah,
Everybody hangs onto it, gets back up on the track, and we're still rolling.
yeah. Cole Gray is trying to bring that Bullydog coffee machine to the front. He was 3 wide by himself coming through the backstretch there. I believe there may have been a little bit of contact with Dave in that 101 machine, but Cole certainly trying to make his way up here. Is now he's trying to figure out a way to go around John Sanu here for the, I guess it'll be the 10th position that he's looking for here.
I see the 28 of Bill Jetty there. He's starting to stick his nose around a little bit, trying to find an opening. So he's trying to figure out what'll work and see if he can pull his teammate Zachy C in the 24 car there with him when he decides to make that move.
Yeah, and right now Bill and Zach are in a tough position here because they need to find a way to get lined up, and there's really nowhere to go. We're going to take a look overhead right here. There's nowhere for Zach to go. Zach in the number 24 machine right on the top shelf of the speedway right now. There's nowhere for him to go unless Paul's nice to him right here, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. So we got 5 laps to go this time by at the Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, isn't it just a little bit ironic too, though, when you look at how the race ended last night with Bill Jetty and Zach Chahalis and their team were up front controlling the race, and now we've got the Mad Sim Racing guys right in front of them controlling the race. They're getting a little taste of their own medicine with nowhere to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we're still watching this here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. This is where you're going to find all the action for the Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Star Series all season long. We'll be live every Wednesday night around 7:45 Eastern Standard Time.
Big moves happening here. We're 3 wide, 2 spots, so we got contact, the 3 and the 47. Big contact in front of them as well, and the caution is out.
Big caution this time by with 4 laps to go on the scoring charts. Got a lot of hard misses down here. I believe that's going to be the end to Cole's night, and maybe, I'm not sure who else used the fast repair. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to track that. See Andrew Cott's going to tow in that car back to pit. That's going to take him out of the race. He may still have a fast repair, but he's going to be a couple laps down.
Yeah, there was a lot of damaged cars right there. We'll just have to play a wait and see game here and see who used their fast repair already, who gets to line back up on the track here and give it a run.
Yeah, taking a look here. Let's go on board with the 146. The 146 was running right up there in that 12th position, right up against the top side wall right there. And unfortunately, it looks like he was just nowhere to go. Really just a victim of unfortunate circumstance. Go ahead and take a look at the replay right here. So it looks like this accident actually started up in front of him. The initial point of contact may have been between the 28 and the... No, it was Andrew getting loose there, coming down on Cole just a tiny bit, or contact between the 147 and the 3. I should careful how we're wording that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I think there was actually 2 wrecks happening there simultaneously. It looked like the 89 of Patrick Stein and Bill Jetty kind of touched a little bit, and then behind them, the 3 and the 47 got together. So there was a couple things going on there at once, and yeah, the end result is just a bunch of trash cars.
yeah, still taking a look at the wreck here, and that's going to bring us under caution for the 3rd time out here tonight as we get caught up here with the iRacing.com pace car, see if we can't go ahead and wait on that. So what's that going to do for our lead pack here? We're going to be going under a green-white checkered scenario. So what this is, Craig, for anybody who may not be too familiar with it, we're going to get a green-white checker. So the first lap will be the green flag, second one will be the white flag, and the final one will be the checkered flag. We get one attempt at that in the event that this is a official green-white scenario.
Yeah, it looks like it will be most likely. So for those of you that don't know, once they take the green flag, with there only being one green-white checker attempt, if another accident comes out, that's the end of the race. So whoever's leading at that point will be the race winner.
And in the event that we do receive the white flag, we will run it out regardless of what happens. We will get a green flag finish out here tonight. But we've got another minute or so. YouTube chat box out here. I see a lot of you guys out here representing your teams and your drivers and your sponsors and your friends and your family. Go ahead and post your picks out here one more time as we come around to 2 laps to go for a green-white checkered finish here this time by. Who'd we say? I had Paul. You had what? Cole? Did you have Paul?
No, I had the 24, Zachy C.
Oh, you did have Zach.
Looks like those two are going to be starting nose to tail. Zach right in front of Grandpa.
And it is official. This is our one attempt at a green-white checker here, so we are going to get 2 more laps of racing, and we will see how this ends here in about another 2 or 3 minutes. After the show, after the race, after this ends, the Cybertron Broadcast Network post-race show, so stick around for a few minutes after the checker flag falls, and we'll be doing top 3 interviews all season long with your top 3 finishers for each race. Kyle Jetty out here says, Shavoda has some tricks up their sleeve. What do they got? Kyle, why don't you tell us what you got? See Brad out here as well. Brad, I know who you're rooting for.
Well, it looks like Shavoda is, they played it smart in the first half of the race, hanging back there, and they've saved their fast repair, used it if they needed to here. I'm not sure how many of them used it, but all 3 of them are right there together now, the 24, 28, and the 53 Dalton Carter. So, yeah, they could very possibly have some tricks up their sleeve here and see if they can get around those mad sim racing guys. I know I saw Zach Jahalis try to go to the outside there in that last run right before we had the caution come out. So that may be their plan.
They very well could, but the 24 and the 28 are still going to be broken up. We'll see how the restart goes here. If they are able to get lined up, that could spell trouble for these 3 mad sim racing cars in front of them. We're going to try for a green-white checker here. This time by, we're going green here.
Yeah, we'll see if the 51 of Jerry Isaac gets out there and gets that big run. It probably won't pay off for him at this point in the race, even if your teammate, you're going to try to go for that win if you've got that big of a run on the guy in the leading.
Well, here we go. Green flag out for the final time tonight. That much we can tell you. 2 laps to go this time by at the stripe. Barney's waving the flag. Big jump for Jerry Isaacs and Tyler Beeman trying to lead that top shelf around the speedway as we see a big wiggle out of David Contreras in the 09. That's going to kill the bottom line as we see the top line really lined up nice and tight coming through turns 1 and 2 here.
Yeah, the 91 of Tyler Beeman's got Zachy C right behind him, and Paul Turner pushing Zachy C. So they've got a great line, good push. 91, Tyler's going to pull out to the lead right here. Going to be going into turn 3. Oh, it looks like
wide for the lead here.
That outside. Yep, I told you he was going to try to make that outside work. We'll see who Paul goes with. Is he going to go to the high side, or is he going to stick with Tyler? Zach doesn't have any teammates back there helping him out. They're both down in the bottom line. He may be hung out to dry here. Oh, they make contact.
Contact on the top shelf of the speedway. We stay green. Unfortunately, a little bit of more.
Yep, I think that's yellow comes out.
We got a yellow there. I believe we were after the start-finish line, but that's not for us to call. That's going to do it. So Jerry Isaacs is going to be the winner of this race. Pending scoring cycling around right here. David Contreras second. John Sanu currently running 3rd on track behind David. We'll see where scoring cycles around in iRacing places that 86 machine.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be chippy and somebody was going to have to make a move. It's tough to keep control of these cars when you start going 3 wide and you're pushing for the lead there at the end. But that's how we called it, though. Once a caution comes out after the green-white flag there, it's into the race. So looks like Jerry Isaacs will be the winner. David Contreras, we'll see how the rest of the field shakes out after they get gathered up by the pace car here and come across the line.
Now, I know that we only have 1 green-white checkered on the books, but do we have a second one scheduled here?
I don't believe so. I talked to Chris about it a little bit, and I think he chose not to turn it on because he'd already had it set for 1. So we'll see what happens here. It looks like Bill Jetty in the 28's coming back up to the front. He may actually been in 3rd when the caution came out. He's got that hood popped up. I don't know how you can see where he's going, but that's the damage model we got on these cars.
Well, you know what? That's very few things here do we know, but we can tell you one thing for sure, that Jerry Isaacs is going to be the winner tonight's race unofficially pending race control, making sure that there were no cautions claimed on that 51 machine. If that's the case, I believe this will be Jerry Isaac's first win in the Cyber Thunder Rising Stars Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars series out here tonight on opening night for the start of a new season.
Yeah, great win for Jerry Isaacs. He put himself in the right place at the right time, was there, run a smart race the entire race. So it's good to see him get out here and get a win. He's ran with us quite a few races now, and it's good to see him going to be going to victory lane.
Yeah, it looks like scoring is still shaking back out around here. As now Tyler Beaton is in the third position. Bill Jetty has moved to fourth, and Dalton Carter has moved up to the final car on the top 5 running order right here. We're going to come around and we're going to get the checkered flag this time under yellow flag conditions. Jerry, I think Jerry knows he's won this crank. He's already going out here. He's itching to do a burnout. He's trying not to pass the pace car. Don't get any penalties. That's going to put you at the tail end of the field here. Just come around and do your burnout here next time by, right? You know, so we'll see how this shakes out here. But Jerry Isaac's going to come across for opening night in the Cyber Thunder Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars Series. Okay, I see what's happening here. Never mind. This is going to be a scoring nightmare, but here we go. Jerry Isaac's down here. He's doing the smoke show contact between him and Justin Zapotsky at the start-finish line. We're going to step away for a few minutes, get scoring situated. We're going to get your top 3 post-race finishers out here, and we'll be back for the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network post-race show. Don't go anywhere. All right, and while we wait for Crank Bell, Crank on another beer run, Crank will be back in just a minute. But we're caught up with the third-place finisher, unofficial third-place finisher out here tonight, Tyler Beeman in 91, Mad Sim Racing. Tyler, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, man. Well, certainly it's going to appear that you guys are coming across with Mad Sim Racing coming home 1, 2, 3 out here tonight. What was your guys' plan coming out here? Were you guys planning on just getting somebody in victory lane, or I know you want to win. We saw you win a couple times last season in the Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars series out here. What was your team's plan?
We joked before the race 1, 2, 3 would be awesome. We had a strong team of guys out here tonight. We've been doing a lot of Daytona racing with Cyber Thunder over the past couple weeks. But really, like you said, we were after the win. Hopefully it sticks 1, 2, 3. When I get out of the car, I need to watch that last wreck. I'm not really sure what happened. I know that's how Daytona can be towards the end. But I feel good at least about the win. And Jerry Isaac's doing a great job. Well-deserved win.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys ran a large portion of this race, and certainly glad to see. We're going to go ahead and we're going to open up the floor for you. Anybody you want to thank? Anybody, friends, family, sponsors, anybody like that got you out here, letting you finish in the P3 spot out here tonight on the podium?
The whole Mad Sim Racing team, madsimracing.com. We're repping Into the Apex podcast tonight, all of our cars, 6 of us out here. We'll be back tomorrow night in Pro Cup. And looking forward to this whole Cyber Thunder season. Awesome sponsor for this series and the Thursday night series, and excited to go oval racing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's Tyler Beeman. Tyler finishing out third here, kind of bringing home the charge for Mad Sim Racing here. We're going to see if we can't get Tyler kicked out of here, let him go celebrate with his teammates, and we're going to see if we can't catch up the driver of the 09 machine. Let's see if Crank's back from his beer run. Crank, you back?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Crank, we went off schedule here.
Yeah, we got to flex with things. I'm old. So, hey, I got David Contreras up here. First race in the Rising Star Series. I think first race in an official series for Cyber Thunder. Came out in force with the Mad Sim Racing guys, and, man, you put on a show. You were up front on the front row. You and Jerry Isaacs just controlling the field throughout the entire time. Do you think this is how it was going to turn out, that you'd end up being on a podium?
Yeah, I mean, we had we've been putting a lot of hours, and we knew that we had a good chance. So we knew if we got up there, we could, really control the pace and control the field.
So tell me, when those last few restarts, I saw Jerry was really getting out there ahead of you guys. Did you think, hey, I'll just let him get out there a little bit, and then I'll work with these guys to get a run going and be able to blow him by him right at the end, and I'll take the win? Or were you just content laying back and letting him take the win?
No, he qualified pole, so I think he deserved it. So, my job was watching his back and me as a wingman.
Awesome. That's a great teammate right there, working together like that. Well, hey, I want to tell you congrats on the podium here in your first race here in the Rising Star Series. We're looking forward to seeing you run with the rest of your Mad Sim Racing crew the rest of the season. I'll give you the floor here. Is there anybody you'd like to thank, give a shout out to, your family, friends, sponsors, anybody? What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I want to thank Mad Sim Racing, Into the Apex podcast. All my teammates, we put in a lot of hard work. Great hire, and pretty much everybody involved in Mad Sim Racing.
All right, good deal, buddy. Again, congrats. I'm going to move you down, and we'll see if we can't get our race winner, Mr. Jerry Isaacs, up here.
Thank you.
That's your second place finisher out here tonight. First start in the Cyber Thunder Racing League and the Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars Series. David Contreras coming home in second, but we are caught up with what I believe is going to be another first-time winner, Jerry Isaacs, in the number 51 machine. You guys got a copy over here.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, it is a first-time win for me.
Well, Jerry, first off, congratulations. Certainly looks like you guys are going to be coming home 1, 2, 3 out here tonight, pending post-race review of all those cautions and scoring on that last little restart right there. But I was talking to Tyler a minute ago, and Crank was talking to David, 2 of your teammates. I got Tyler's input. What was your guys' team strategy? You kept getting those big jumps out on the restart. Were you ever concerned that maybe somebody was just going to come out and try to sneak it from you?
Yeah, absolutely. And some of them had some pretty good runs. We obviously wanted race fair, didn't want to cause any problems, but we wanted to keep the cars as wide as possible, keep them together, and try and stay out front.
Yeah, and everybody talks about Daytona and Talladega being one of the great equalizers. We're certainly looking to see in what you got for the remainder of the Cyber Thunder Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars Series. And are you going to be making a run at the championship this season?
Oh man, I'd certainly like to. Last year was my first year with the Rising Stars, and I was new to iRacing. I'm not a real life racer, so I'm learning. I'm trying to get better, and I think I improved some last year, and obviously with a pole here, hopefully that shows some skill improvement. So I'm going to give it my best and see if we can keep it out front. The tracks get a little harder and the racing gets a little closer. So I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try.
I certainly think you got the goods to do it, and you got the team behind you to help you get there. But you're going to be leaving the World Center of Racing from week 1 in a good spot here. We're going to open up the floor for you. Sponsors, friends, family, teammates, anybody you want to thank, mention, or acknowledge out there, bringing home the checkered flag out here tonight at Daytona.
It's a bunch. Yeah, absolutely. Bullydog Coffee Company for getting us out there streamed. Love them. Thank you guys very much for sponsoring the league. And of course, I can't thank Mad Sim Racing enough for putting me in a car. They're into the Apex podcast is something you got to listen to. They've taught me a lot. I've learned a lot, and they've got a lot of great sponsors. Roscoe Wheels, Great Hire, Raise Energy, Bad Weather Brewing. All those guys made it possible for me to get out here and race tonight, and I want to thank all of them. And just really excited and looking forward to a great season.
Well, Jerry, once again, congratulations. A sincere congratulations on your first series win, your first league win out here. We're certainly looking to see what you can do for the remainder of the season. We're going to go ahead and let you celebrate with your team down there, and we look forward to seeing you out here next week as well.
Have a good evening.
You as well. Thank you. And Crank, that's going to do it. Checkered flag's out. What'd you think of the first race we had here?
Well, that was exciting. I mean, honestly, I thought we would have a lot more calamity early on just because it was a new season, and we did have quite a few new drivers, but they really showed up, showed us what they were about, ran caution-free all the way through halfway. Had a few minor incidents, but it was some good racing. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that going forward. And I think once everybody's power and stuff comes back on, we'll see a little bigger field. I'm excited. I think the broadcast was good. I think we worked well together, and I'm looking forward to working with you and Bullydog Coffee Company moving forward.
Yeah, and Patrick, one more shout out for those guys out there. Huge shout out to those guys doing great things for a great cause. Donated a portion of their proceeds to Pitbull Rescue and low-cost spay and neutering options and programs out there out of Prescott, Arizona, if I remember that correctly. But we're going to go ahead and run down your finishing order out here tonight from the Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars Series. Coming home with the win, first of the season, Jerry Isaacs, David Contreras, Tyler Beeman, 3 Mad Sim Racing cars, and then Bill Jetty and Dalton Carter rounding out the top 5.
Yep, then we're followed by Johnson New, David Gainforth, Kelly Elrod, Paul Turner, after all the stuff he had to deal with, brought it home, looks like P10.
Yeah, and Zachy C on the board there as well. Patrick Stein, another one of those Mad Sim Racing cars. Unfortunately, I believe he was caught up in that second wreck coming out of turn number 4 and was out of flex tape down there. Eric Moore in that RST Timberworks Chevy Impala. Christopher Daniel had a rough night. Justin Zapotsky, once again, a lot of these guys were up front throughout the start of the race, and that's just Daytona racing. Unfortunately, that will happen sometimes, but we're going to continue on to tracks that maybe their fate is more in their control, and rounding out the top 15 is Mr. Andrew Caldwell in the 146.
Yep, and then Cole Gray, he had some good runs, was up front a lot of the race, but ran into calamity there at the end, ended up bringing it home P16th, followed by Andrew Kotska. Matt Wofford, after being lapped down early and trying to fight to get his way back on the lead lap, ended up finishing 6 laps down after a big wreck there near the end. Then we had Robert Gregoire and Nicholas Sneed finishing out the top 20, who I think had some difficulty with his car before the race started and never even was able to make the grid.
Yeah, tough night for some, but a great night for others. 1, 2, 3 unofficially for the team out there tonight, and really great opening night out here for the Bullydog Coffee Company Rising Stars Series. Thank you guys all for coming out. Remember, you can catch us live every Wednesday night around 7:45 Eastern. We're going to be bringing you the entire season live here on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Go ahead and click that subscribe button, get notified every time we go live, and we will see you next Wednesday.